Hi, this is Lauren from LSP Actions, and today I'm going to show you how to add a picture of your baby, your client's baby, to the LSP Moon Calm Sea digital background. This is a PSD file, meaning you get lots of layers here, so you can change the way this image looks to suit your style, to suit your clients, and also, so you don't keep making the same image over and over again. You can adapt this for your clients so you have lots of variety to post to your page. For example, you have things like stars that you can turn on and off. You can add some mist. You can also add your own layers. For example, if you wanted to add levels or curves or any of your other hand editing, you can. We can change the image by warming it up simply by turning these layer masks off, or painting, cooling down, lightening. It can add a nice deep sunset look to this, all with one click. So to add the baby in, I'm just going to select this image. It's on my other screen here. I would recommend shooting for the moon, not just kind of going back through all your images and grabbing the first one you kind of want to try. You of course you can do that, and I'm sure it's going to look great, but to shoot for the moon I'd recommend shooting on a creamy kind of coloured backdrop for this one, and lighting from the right, so having baby's head on the right. If you shoot with baby's head to the left and you light to the left, that's fine. You can either flip the baby for this image or flip the whole image over to suit baby. The light in this image is coming from the right here, so you want to be able to replicate that light in the image that you've shot. So I'm going to take this image, which I have given a 90% edit already. I have fixed the skin, I've done all my normal editing, I've given it a nice light and airy edit. Not too contrasty, not too dark, because as you can see that will suit this image, this background a lot better. So I'm going to come here to this layer called Your Baby, Open Group. I'm going to open the group. You'll see there's a baby placeholder here, which will give you a sizing reference. You can simply add the baby in if you want to, but this is the way I prefer to do it, and this is why I've given you these layers here. That needs to be blank. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is a smart object. You'll see there's a little icon here on the place your baby here. You can just turn this off and place the baby however you're most comfortable doing that, but for the quality I would recommend doing it this way, how I'm going to show you. This will also change the reflection down here of baby as well for you, which is an added bonus. You won't have to do that by hand. So come onto this layer, place baby here, and double click, and you will get this separate image come up with 4 layers. You get the moon guide, which you can turn on, which really helps you place baby into the image. You have some guides here, which are reminders. Add baby here, following the size and mask around them. The light is coming from camera right, so flip baby if needed. Make sure you turn this layer off before saving, and double click to come back anytime and edit. So I'm going to turn this layer off, and this layer off, and I'm going to take my image here, if I come onto Navigator here, copy this, and I'm going to paste it in. This is my baby. As I said before, I've edited to a kind of a high contrast, a low contrast edit, and I shot on cream, which suits the moon. You have to excuse me, I'm tripping over my words today. So I'm going to take the opacity down a little bit so I can just see where I'm placing this baby. Just to come in here as a size guide. Now this baby actually follows the contour of the moon quite nicely here. But you'll see the feet are coming off. I'm going to show you how we can adapt baby even more. I'm going to make baby a little bit smaller, I think, as well. I think it looks cute when babies are small, not taking up the whole moon. So I'm going to go there. This box that I have around it at the moment, if you're new to Photoshop, this is Transform, which you can resize the image, and you can also rotate if needed. You can do that by holding Control or Command and hitting T, or coming up here, Edit. Free transform from there. Hold down Shift to resize, unless you have the newer update of Photoshop where for some reason you have to hold down Shift if you want to kind of distort your image. It's a bit odd, but I'm sure either way you'll figure this one out. So place baby there. Now I'm going to come up and I'm going to move this foot up out the way a little bit, just so baby fits the curve of the moon a little bit more naturally. To do that, I'm going to come up here to Edit, Puppet Warp, and you'll see this mesh appears over the baby. Every pin can either be moved, or it will hold that part of the image in place. So I'm going to pop pins up here by clicking right the way through the middle. I'm going to come up here to the density and choose more points as well to allow me to put pins closer together, which I prefer. Kind of up the middle of my image, so I'm securing this area down. I also don't want to move or distort baby's head in any way, so I'm going to pop a few pins here. So popping some pins in will just secure these areas down. Now I'm going to grab a pin kind of here near the toe, and I'm going to start lifting this pin up. And you can see I'm moving baby's bottom now without moving the head. If I turn the mesh off by show mesh, you'll see even more what I'm doing here. Can we see that? Obviously don't go too far, it will look weird, but I'm just going to lift baby's foot and bottom up just a little bit to suit the curve of the moon a bit more. I'm also going to pull the butt out just a little bit more. Hit enter, and you will see that has adapted baby a lot more to the shape of the moon. So I'm going to bring the opacity up now. The next step is to mask baby. Ooh. Now if you place baby, it should have gone onto this layer here, so I've just merged it down, that's my fault. So if you have baby on a different layer, simply add a mask by coming down here to this little box with a circle in it and clicking in it. That will add a layer mask. Black is hide and white is show. So I want to blacken out around the baby to hide this background, but I want to leave baby white, the cutout of baby in white, to make baby show. If you get lost with layer masks, there is plenty of information online. I wouldn't recommend coming here and using the eraser to kind of erase around baby, because you may want to paint some of it back in later on. So definitely come here on the layer mask and use that. To select the baby, you can come up here to the quick selection tool and drag this over baby. This makes quite a nice selection. Or if you're using Photoshop Creative Cloud, you can hit quick selection tool, come up here, select subject, and that always does a pretty good job of selecting your subject. Obviously, because baby's on kind of a creamy colour, it hasn't done the best selection in the world. We can see here there's a little bit there that it hasn't selected. So onto your quick selection tool, hold down Alt to take away from a selection and just bring that in. I'd recommend shooting baby around f5 if you can. Don't shoot too wide open, otherwise you're going to lose areas of detail in the blur. Okay, and now to refine this selection, I'm going to come up here, make sure you still have one selected, or any of the other selection tools here, and hit select and mask. I'm just going to zoom in here to the hair, select the second brush down, which is a refine edge brush, and I'm just going to brush this lightly over the hairline. And what this will do is help pick out that hair a little bit more on the selection. Let me just turn my annoying sound effects off. I'm also going to move around the baby and see if there's anywhere here that looks a bit odd, which there is. So I'm going to select the magic wand, hold down Alt for minus, and just take these little bits away here. If you've shot on cream, you won't need to worry quite so much because you'll be able to blend this in with the image. If you've shot on grey or a different colour, you're going to have to pay quite a bit of attention to your cutting out to make sure it looks natural. You can also hit the smart radius here and come up a little bit, and that will just drag your selection in even more. Hit OK, and you'll be left with a nice selection. So come on to the layer mask. You can either invert the selection and make this black, or Control, Command or I and invert the layer mask here. Deselect, and you will see we've lost our baby, but we have background. So again, now I've deselected, I'm going to hold down Control or Command, hit I. We've lost our background, but we still have baby. So we can see here that that's actually a pretty decent cutout. The edit is low contrast, which suits this image. Like I said, I've edited about 90% on this image. Once I'm happy with the placement, I can come back and maybe warm the baby slightly, add a slightly dreamy feel to this baby. The hair cutout has gone really nicely here by using the select and mask tool with a refine edge, which is really good. Because I've shot on a creamy colour, I'm going to select my brush tool and I'm just going to select a low flow brush, 25%, 100% opacity on a white brush, and just bring a little bit of that back in. Because the background colour, even though it's not exactly the same, it's so similar, I can just bring that in so we have a natural shadow there. Now I'm going to hide or delete. I prefer to hide before saving, as the instructions say here. So we just have the baby. Control or Command S to save, or File, Save. This is a PSB file, it's a temporary file. This will now save back to your main image. Ta-da! You will also see, because we've done it as a smart object, it has come down here and given baby a reflection in the moon to give it even more of a natural feel. I can simply double click this if I want to edit the baby more. I'm just going to just work on this little area here. I would recommend zooming into your image and checking anything like this. So I'm just going to kind of come in here. See, this is showing the moon through underneath. So I'm just refining that selection a little bit more. Which I'd recommend doing. Always kind of come in and check. Because pretty guaranteed your clients are going to want this printing out. So always zoom in to 100% and check what's going on there. Okay, hide that one again and save. The reason I like to give you such a high resolution PSD file with smart objects and all the layers and everything is so you can produce such a high quality image for your clients that will print large, that will look gorgeous, and that will not get old. Okay, so let's take baby away for a minute. So there's our moon, there's baby added in. Now you can come in and kind of, you know, I've given you a layer here about lighten baby where you can lighten the baby up a little bit, which I always find is quite good for this image. So I'm just going to add some of that by selecting a white brush and painting in. You could also, you know, warm baby up by adding a photo filter here. Where's the photo filter? Just to add a little bit of warmth if baby's too cool. I'm going to invert that and add a little bit of warmth there. But of course, this all depends on your individual taste and image. If you have shot baby on a colour other than cream, or you wish to change the colour of these layers here, you can come down here. There's a little group called Blanket Colour. Open the group. So I'm going to click the drop down, open the group. We have grey, blue, peach, and a light and white, and also choose your own. So just turn on grey, turn on blue. Now we'll see here, because I shot the baby on cream and I've added a little bit of that blanket where baby was originally on back in, I'm going to have to go up and change this on the original image too, so please bear that in mind. You may have to mask baby or just add this hue and saturation layer above the baby as well. Peach, light and white, choose your own. Choose your own, double click here. This will bring up a hue and saturation. Select reds and you will notice here you can change the hue. This will also change the reflection as well. They all will. So that's a little extra there for you as well, so you can change the colour of the background of the blanket if you don't want this neutral colour in there. So that's the LSP Moon, the Calm Sea digital background for Photoshop, PSD file. I hope you love it. Your clients are going to absolutely adore this. You can see more examples of this in use on the website. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you do with it.